Estelle Rubio here. Thought I'd give you a tour of my studio because you probably are here because you've seen some of my tutorials or some of my music videos, and I thought, why not talk about some of the gear I've had. Some of my older gear, vintage audio in the corner. Some of it I actually bought new, that's worrying. And I've also got some of my newest bits of kit hiding over there in the corner, my first modular synth. And I thought, why not ask you what you would like me to give you some tutorials on? I mean, I can look at the viewing figures and say, oh, this one was popular. I've made a lot of videos on Logic, but I've made a lot of videos on Roland, on the Burst Lab, also known as the MV1, and recently on Doubler, Komplete Kontrol. So I've done loads of different topics, and I thought, well, what shall I do next? Why not ask you, the viewer? So subscribe, because I'm going to be adding quite a lot more new content in the next few weeks and months. Well, where should we start? My lights are so bright that we can actually barely see anything here. So this is the EMU 64, and this was one of the first bits of kit that I bought. And you can see just about all the different channels. So it had kind of 16 channels of sampling and had some really cool effects as well. And then I had the Planet Fat, which I'll plug in later with the same kettle lead. That was the first bit of kit I ever bought. Well, obviously I had a computer. I think I had I don't know, what was it? A MacBook G3 or something. You can see untitled presets. This was a complete revelation. I mean, obviously you've got this now in Logic, the quick sampler. I mean, you just drag a bit of audio and it works. This was so complicated. First of all, you had to get a zip drive and discs. I'm gonna get it, wait a sec. So managed to find some discs. Heard a really funny story about these the other day where someone showed their kid one of these, an old drive, and they said, oh wow, look, someone 3D printed the disc icon. No, we actually used to have these, and they would run out with about a minute of samples on them. And they went in the zip drive, Mac 100. I mean, these might be actually worth something. And the newest bit of kit, so this is the Roland System 500 series. I'm actually getting one of the bits fixed at the moment, but maybe you'd like to see me kind of explore this, and actually we could go on the journey together because this is the first time for me as well. Do you like my pink? Little kind of patch leads. I had a whole bunch, and then when I actually got this, they didn't fit, so I had to order the mini ones. And then the mini ones I've ordered are actually really quite short. So I still need to order more. Yeah, beginner mistakes. But yeah, maybe you'd like to see me using this. I mean, a lot of dance music now, especially in the melodic techno, organic house. I'm seeing a lot more people use these, and I'm hearing a lot more people use these, and it's like that old argument of digital versus analog, and I think this is the equivalent in terms of sound synthesis. And I think they add like a performance value as well. I think a lot of us do this in the box. For example, I've just been playing around on Reactor, and that has a lot of virtual versions, but you just can't beat the kind of gnarly sounds. So do you want me to explore this, go on a bit of a journey? This would be a journey together because I'm literally starting out. You only get one vote, by the way. If not, I'm never going to leave my studio. Not that I do anyway. So one of the things I get a lot of questions about is audio interfaces, and I've had so many over the years. Today I found, look how dusty that is. I mean, this is shocking. This was the Apogee Duet. This was the first one. And this was a great little interface because it was just really portable. You could kind of take it anywhere with a laptop. I think actually I initially used it on a G5 tower, which I've still got down there. Oh my God, I'm such a hoarder. But yeah, the Apogee Duet was really good because you had a lot of different kind of mic and line inputs. You know, you had XLRs, jacks, but it had a lot of coloration. Everyone used to talk about how you almost had like a mix on your mix coming through the audio interface, but then the problem was obviously it wouldn't print with that coloration on it. You'd still be printing within your system. So you'd end up not actually having it sounding like it was coming through the speakers. And I actually did get another one of these, slightly less dusty. They were good for traveling with, like when I was away in Ibiza doing residency or something, I would just take this. And I don't know why I ended up getting another one. I think you probably didn't even need a driver with these, which was great. You could just plug it in and it would work. So anyway, you may have seen one of my videos about the Anubis, which is merging tech, which is kind of what I'm using. I made a video about merging tech's Anubis when it first came out, and Anubis have kind of merged a little bit with Neumann, so it's a very similar device to the Neumann. So this is a great thing, and I haven't really used the Apogee since I've used this, but it's a great portable device, and I've actually been using it a lot for live as well, because you can really control your sound and what mix you want coming out. But I also have the Titan, the Prism Sound Titan, and I thought I could make a video about these two. I could compare these two interfaces, which have incredible analog to digital converters. They have a lot of fans within the music industry. And then I've got this piece of kit here, Valley People, which is not plugged in at all. And I got that and the Summit, which is compression, which I use for recording vocals in. I either use that or the preamp. That really has that analog sound. Summit compressor and the preamp for vocals. So I mainly use that to run vocals through, sometimes run a mix through afterwards. You kind of have to bus everything through a channel. Much easier when I have my patch bay set up to use, although you can still do it with a few jack-to-jacks going through the back of the Prism, which I think I've currently got set up back there. And if you go back there, you'll see I've just got a couple of extra jack-to-jacks. I think there's a mic input there, speaker out, and then a couple of extra jack-to-jacks. One of the things I do love about the Prism Sound Titan, the sound and the crispness, and you know, there's a lot of detailing. It's got also kind of very handy multi-outputs, headphone jacks. But already I could tell you a few things about that, but do you want me to make a whole video about it? One of the things I do love about the Anubis is it's got an amazing low latency, so you can short circuit actually your Logic and just record and monitor through the Anubis. So it's brilliant for recording in, also got very incremental decibels, so you can really just creep up the volume. Whereas on the Titan, it's kind of jumps. I need to get my patch bay set up again. It's actually under here. I will show you the tangle of wires that is my patch bay. My patch bay. It is under there. That is what I would have to untangle and to reconnect it. Big studio like Metropolis or Abbey Road, they still have patch bays. I think that's because they have so much analog gear, and it does really make that difference. And then especially when you're kind of going through into the Prism, for example, using analog gear, and you've got those converters that then convert that warmth into a digital sound, but give it another quality, a fullness that I can't quite explain, but my ears recognise. Over to synths. So this is a vintage synth, but it's not actually an analog synth, it's still digital, even though it looks like it should be analog because it's got so many knobs and sliders. Here's the Roland JP8000, which it was, God, I don't know, 88 or something like that. You should probably look that up. But I got this from someone I worked for, Merv DePire, who toured with Cameo, I think, with this exact keyboard. So anyway, here's a clip of me playing this one. The actual Roland cloud version of this sounds almost the same, except it just doesn't have as many knobs and sliders and options. So I've been using Komplete Kontrol as well a lot in the studio recently, because I love that it brings my focus kind of back to the music and the keyboard. And I just love as well the interface on the computer, because it's so easy to search for a sound. Like often I think, oh, I want a sound, like for this song, I wanted water sounds. And you can actually search pretty much your whole libraries, because things like Diva integrate into the Komplete Kontrol system. Like all the controllers are already set up for you. So, you know, you've got all of your different controllers are just immediate. Like with this sound, you can just really quickly just start to play around. So you don't have to go in and set up any controllers, so it's pretty neat. Yeah, that's pretty dark. And change sounds as well through the keyboard and by linking it with the machiner. So that's become a real favourite. I think I made one video about Komplete Kontrol, but maybe it'd be good to make one about making dance music with it. So this is my guitar collection. I actually play guitar, even though I make mainly electronic music, but it's quite a nice distraction, and I do some kind of Latin music, because I'm obviously quite schizophrenic. Anyway, the Fender Strat, made in Japan. Recently found out from the serial number on the back, 101, that this is a 1989 Fender Strat, and thinking of selling it to buy more electronic music stuff. And I bought this off someone when I was studying at the University of Westminster doing commercial music, which is one of the first like electronic degrees. I mean, now we've got BIM, we've got Point Blank, totally out of tune, I think. It's actually my dad's Alhambra guitar, and then this one is mine, the Senorita, which is kind of a little bit bigger than 3/4 size, but it's designed for women, and you can hear the battery has fallen out there. Got a lovely sound. In a clip, shall I have me playing it properly? How many things I have that I don't actually use. So what do you think? Do I need to kind of offload everything, sell everything I've got and buy more electronic stuff? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, so really at the centre of most studios is the DAW. What are you using? I mean, I'm really seeing now a split of Pro Tools, Ableton, Logic mainly songwriters. I have used Logic since, God, I don't know, version 6 or 5, when it was owned originally by eMagic before it was bought by Apple. And I've been lucky enough to have, over the years, some versions pre-release. So I've made a lot of videos on Logic. So would you like me to explore some of the new things in Logic, or to kind of go deep into kind of using Logic for dance music, for example, using automation, that kind of thing? So yeah, what do you think? Is the DAW the centre of your musical universe? Which one do you use? And who uses Fruity Loops? So over here I've got my microphone, which is a Telefunken microphone. I've got a microphone shield, which you need to have been on the Krypton Factor to fit, and I currently can't find the screw. It's Mensa level, like a jigsaw. But anyway, that gives pretty good protection of sound. And then over here, I'll show you in a minute, I've got some acoustic paneling. So yeah, I record all my own vocals. I generally set up like an iPad and I use Logic Remote, and then I'm able to stop and start, record, etc. The Telefunken is a valve microphone. So I've got the valve that you kind of switch on to power it. Yeah, it's got a pretty good sound. Sounds great on guitars and things. It picks up a lot of frequencies. I could also show you some mic techniques, miking up guitars, recording vocals, using auto-tune, that kind of thing. What is it that you really need to know or to kind of get better at with your productions? Anyway, bye. Looking forward to hearing your feedback, comments, and what I should do next.